we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them.
If you no talk, then go beat you.
Now 2,500 I dey pay.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408 or send an email to marketing@PlusTvAfrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Welcome to your favorite program, The Moment of Truth, brought to you by the Citadel Global Community Church. Our God is a God of salvation, far above all principality and power and might and dominion, that regardless of what happens in this season, you will escape. Say to your neighbor, there is no peace for the wicked. The lazy man does not roast what he took in hunting, but diligence is a man's precious possession. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
Moment of Truth with Pastor Tunde Bakare, Sundays 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
For me, I wanted to change that culture. I didn't believe that until you see a white man or you see a foreigner in the kitchen before you can believe that, you know, good food is going to come out of that kitchen.
You can leverage on each other's spaces and, you know, sell. We believe in Nigeria, right? We believe that Nigeria can get better. We, the youth, are the ones that can make it better.
And my products are proudly made in Nigeria.
Made in Niger, showing every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. and repeats on Saturday at 8:30 a.m.
It is engagement we need to have. have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the barbing, I pay my rent. From the barbing, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
Hello and welcome. It's Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime.
Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? Hashtag Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Musaiwa Misale, and today I'm joined by Milola, Norma, and Issy. How are you ladies doing? Hi. What's good?
We're good. Fine, thank you. We're fine. Oh, I'm fine. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm good. So what happened, Milola, today? You went for a photo shoot or something?
Busy day, busy. From production to running to the store. Some people came to give me Lola an award, to rushing to do photo shoot. A lot, but I'm here now.
Busy woman. According to AK, billionaire.
Talking about AK, happy birthday, Akani. Oh, Joe. Today is her birthday.
Absolutely.
AK has been an amazing member of the team. She's always very amiable. Never a dull moment with her. I call her the selfie queen. She's unrivaled.
I wonder how it affected her yesterday, that WhatsApp was off air.
No, but I think they had prepared her for yesterday because, you know, her phone was off for like one week. You know, her phone was off. So I'm happy that at least it's her birthday.
Absolutely.
Today. Happy birthday, AK.
Happy birthday, AK.
Happy birthday, AK. This is a shout out to you.
Yes. All right. So today we are, as our ladies' night out, we're discussing social media and the impact it has on our IQ. And here's what we found as today's quote. If you are on social media and you're not learning, not laughing, not networking, not being inspired, or not networking, then you are using it wrongly. This is from Germany, Kent. All right, so.
Sometimes you get overwhelmed with social media, though.
Yeah. So IQ stands for Intelligent Quotient. There are IQ tests designed to reflect a wide range of cognitive skills such as reasoning, logic, and problem solving. It is a test of intelligence, something you are largely born with. It's our ladies' night out, and Issy, Norma, and I are asking if our IQs are being affected by social media or technology in general, especially this digital native generation. You call them Gen Z, what do you call them? And when we open our phone lines, we'd really love to hear what you have to say. But first, we'll take a break to see what we found in the news. On World Teachers' Day, we are not only celebrating every teacher, we are calling on countries to invest in them and prioritize them in global education recovery efforts so that every learner has access to a qualified and supported teacher. Let's stand with our teachers. World Teachers' Day is held annually on the 5th of October to celebrate all teachers around the globe. It commemorates the anniversary of the adoption of the 1966 ILO or UNESCO recommendation concerning the Status of Teachers, which sets benchmark regarding the rights and responsibilities of teachers and standards for their initial preparation and further education, recruitment, employment, and teaching and learning conditions. Now, the recommendation concerning the status of higher education teachers personnel was adopted in 1997 to complement the 1966 recommendation by covering teaching personnel in higher education. So World Teachers Day has been celebrated since 1994. World Teachers Day is convened in partnership with ILO, that's the International Labour Organization, and UNICEF, and the Education International, that's EI. So happy Teachers Day. We have a teacher in our midst. So how are you feeling today that you've been celebrated?
Oh, I feel ecstatic. I am proud of who I am. I'm proud of being an educator in whatever capacity, be it a coach, be it what's it called, a mentor. The fact is I'm a teacher, and that gives me a lot of joy, impacting lives.
Absolutely.
Happy Teachers Day.
Happy Teachers Day.
I think we're all teachers
Why
in
are
a
we
way.
boring
Once you're
tonight?
educated, once you're informing.
The vibe is coming from there. We need her to step up the vibration, and then it just catches
Once
on
you're
the rest.
informing.
There's no vibration coming this night.
Please, just try.
All the technical.
Yeah.
All right, so who do we start with? Let me go with Isi, I think.
Yeah, she's the teacher in the house.
Your story links with I think it was, who is taking Facebook? You. Okay. So after Isi Milola, you go.
Okay.
Okay, so my story, look, we all knew that yesterday was the vibe for me anyway. I don't know about others. I had that zone. I was in that zone where I didn't have to think about what's happening on social media, what's happening on Facebook,
I connect to that.
happening on
WhatsApp.
In fact, it was tabula rasa, clear as a slate. It was wonderful. So with that, we know what happened yesterday. There was nothing happening for close to about 7 hours or so.
About 5 hours, 7 hours, yeah.
From about
5 o'clock.
From 5 o'clock till about
10, 11.
10, 11-ish, exactly. So it was bliss. And, but not bliss
Bliss for you, not bliss for a lot of people.
Not for some people, because I heard he lost some monies to that few minutes or few hours that he was not on. And he says, Facebook, that's why this headline caught my attention. It says, Facebook blames 7-hour outage on faulty configuration change. Now, this is interesting because if you tell me about configuration change, I haven't the foggiest idea about it. But he says, the social media powerhouse and Silicon Valley tech giant on Monday night blamed a record 7-hour outage on fault configuration change on the backbone routers that coordinate network traffic. Whatever it was, I wouldn't envy Mark Zuckerberg that period because he must have been apprehensive. He must have been under a lot of tension and pressure to get everything rolling. Meanwhile, we were here in our usual bliss, waiting for it to come back on. But the bottom line is that whatever happened was a technical fault, and I hope that it doesn't happen again for some people, because some people actually lost some businesses as well.
They lost business too.
Yes, as I said as well, that some people that the small players that lost up to or lose up to $7 billion.
That's the catch for me.
Yes, so those are the ones that their little pays was something that they needed to take them or keep them going for that period of time. And if they weren't able to access the social media platform at that particular point in time, it must have affected their bottom line one way or the other.
All right, so Milo, what do you find first in the news?
What I have is similar to Isi's news. It's about an apology from Mike Zuckerberg. We're sorry. Facebook apologizes. But aside of the lengthy conversation trying to explain what transpired and what led to that 7-hour shutdown, what caught my attention is I understand a lot of people lost businesses. I was a bit relieved. The pressure is real. Every time I have to consciously and subconsciously make posts just to drive sales. Every time I remove my hand from the plow, I feel like I could have generated a sales if I dropped something online. But for the fact that the system was shut down, I felt like, okay, I could breathe a bit. So really, it was a good time for me to just breathe. I was in the market most of the time anyways. I was not even available to do my usual routine. But one thing that caught my attention is a lot of us were crying wolf in real sense. This guy lost money. So when you see things happen, it's not just about you who gets affected. Some people get even more affected than you did. And I realized from, there's a quote from Bloomberg that said he lost $6 billion in few hours. I mean, no Nigerians has lost that much money in days. So no matter what we think our challenges are, this guy, and for one thing that struck me was, no matter how much I pray, no matter how much I struggle, by virtue of placement, we're at a disadvantage. Being a Nigerian, being born into a developing country, your best of effort has limitation. Absolutely. There's only so much you can do as a Nigerian. His placement played a critical role in how he's able to generate that kind of business that every hour translates to significant billions of dollars.
And trust me, there are Nigerians that actually have the capacity to do that. You know,
locally,
they have the intellectual capacity to be able to develop something that can generate income.
Okay.
Whether the environment is enabling
or not
to support it, that is now the headache.
My darling, until what you know become what you do, you don't know anything.
Okay, ma.
Until what you do translates to value in terms of cash, you have an illusion of knowledge.
Okay.
If you are not able to convert that knowledge to tangible value, trust me, we're just wishing it away.
All right, so Norma, what did you find for us in the news?
Absolutely. Well, for me, I found interesting in the news from the Punch newspaper, Russian crew blast off to make their first movie in space.
Whoa.
Yes. When I saw it, I was like, okay, some people are still doing something in spite of all of the bad news that is everywhere, you know. So crew members, cosmonaut Antoine Shaplerov, sorry, I completely murdered that. Russian names are not my favorite, but actress Yulia Perosid and a film director Kim Shipenko were part of the crew that went on the MS-19 spacecraft blasting off to the ISS from the launch pad at the Russian leased craft, right? So this crew with the director, the actress, all of them went to space on Tuesday in a historic bid to best the United States to film the first movie in the orbit, right? Already, Tom Cruise and his crew in Mission Impossible were preparing to do that. So they decided to take the lead and oust United States from that game. So to be the best. I guess when things are working well, some things are not your problem. Like there's just some things that you're looking to achieve and solve problems on a higher level. Yeah.
All right. Southeast Governor condemned IPOB sit at home, and they're also silent on Nnamdi Kanu's what's it called? Whatever plight that the man is going through. So the Southeast governors and traditional rulers condemned the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra over the Monday sit-at-home order that has crippled and affected the socio-economic activities of the zone. Governors rose in a meeting with some selected leaders at the government house in Enugu and declared that such order can no longer be sustained, more so when those who issued the order were outside the country. And this was as the governor refused to discuss the incarceration of the IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu, in the 8-point communique. My husband just came back from Enugu, and I mean, practically...
He sat at home.
Yeah, practically 3 days out of the four nights that he was there, he couldn't go out because of the IPOB thing. And it's not even it was not even, he didn't even go on a Monday or whatever. He went on a Thursday and he got back on a Sunday. So
actually, the instruction had gone out that nobody steps out on the first Independence Day.
So it's actually something that whatever it is, know that you are actually affecting your own people, because if they cannot earn a decent living, what are you trying to do? You're trying to bring another catastrophe. It means people will start to do crazy things to make money. You know, so all right, so on that note, to take a break. When we return from the break, social media is our conversation and our IQ. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Now, according to a report published by Roy Smith of CNN, new studies find that IQ scores have been steadily falling for the past few decades, and environmental factors are to blame. The causes of in IQ increases over time, and now the decline is due to environmental factors, said Ole Rogberg. That's a senior research fellow at the Regnar Ficht Center for Economic Research in Norway. He believes that the changes is not due to genetics. It's not the dumb people. It's not that dumb people are having more kids than smart people, to put it crudely. It's something to do with the environment, because we're seeing that the same differences within families. He said that these environmental factors could include changes in education system and media environment, nutrition, reading less, and being online more, as according to Rogberg. Now, Robin Morris, on the other hand, a professor of psychology at King's College, said, and I quote, "In my view, we need to recognize that as time changes and people are exposed to different intellectual experiences, such as changes in the use of technology, for example, social media, the way intelligence is expressed also changes. Now, educational methods need to also adapt to such changes." So we're asking, is there a decline in our IQs, and what role has social media played in this decline? Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. All right, so yesterday was an interesting day. All of a sudden, first of all, if you have iPhone 100, your phone is completely useless without social media. Like, I literally had to just, it's almost like I want to just dump my phone somewhere. You might have the most sophisticated gadget. It just opened my eyes to see that, no matter all the eyes and all the, all the eyes that you buy, whether it's i100 or whatever 100, the phone is completely useless without social media. And it was so interesting that nobody remembered to go probably read a book or something. Everybody was helping, because I am someone that if we're having a conversation, the next thing I want to do is probably when you say something I do not understand, I'll go on Google, right? So it's another form of the internet. But, I just realized that I was solely dependent on social media, especially Instagram and WhatsApp are the most visited apps on my phone. So it kept me wondering, okay, we're in an age where we have digital natives, where children are growing up, and before they even turn one, the child knows how to navigate YouTube, the phone, and all of that. So how is this impacting on the IQ? Because for us, intelligence is somehow tied to the capacity of assimilating information, more from even the paperwork, writing, and all those things that links to your brain directly. So it just got me wondering how this social media engagement that we are all so addicted to, right? How it's affecting us as a people in terms of our reasoning skills, in terms of our cognitive skills. How is it impacting? Who wants to go first?
Well, if I want to step in, research has it that the average person spends about 3 hours on their phones and approximately 2.5 hours on social media. So while maybe the other 30 minutes is either to check a dictionary, to check a word, or to go to one other app or the other, 2.5 hours are spent on social media, just checking what other people are doing. And that does not mean that is necessarily constructive, right? So while it seems harmless, right, the same research has it that doing anything repeatedly for extended hours or amounts of time can cause psychological or physiological changes in the brain. And this begs the question, what is social media actually doing to our brains? It does a lot. When you spend, I had to, at some point, put a timeline on myself on Instagram. So when I go in, I have a mission. I want to either post something or check something in particular. And then I have an alarm that says, Norma, you've been here for 10 minutes. I just extended it. Yes, I just extended it to 10. It was actually 5. And once I was done, I'm out. I had to put that on myself because I found out there was a day I wanted to do a lot of things. I said, well, let me check something on social media. And that was how I spent, I did not know when I spent 3 hours to be part of that statistic. I could not believe it, right? And I couldn't even measure what I had accomplished that period. I was busy looking, oh, who did this, who did that, oh, this one smiled this, oh, this. It didn't make sense. So you find out that heavy social media users now, from tests, are the worst when it comes to cognitive tests. They can't concentrate, they have very low attention span. They have less. They are less able to ignore distraction. So you know what we say, that how you do one thing is how you do everything. The more they spend time out, you find out that their brains have also been tuned for distraction. So they can't pay attention long enough to actually capture anything. How can they now understand cognitive tests? So let me stop there for now while I am. But it's a big problem because more and more people are not. The brain was designed to actually think. To process data, to be able to. Social media is not even helping you. Social media does not help you to think. So you see, that's why we have more and more of copycats all over the world, because everybody's just doing copy and paste. This has already been done. There's a challenge happening. I just do it. Jump at it. So you just jump at it and you just move on. Oti was having a conversation with us yesterday, because yesterday we talked about unemployment and underemployment in Nigeria, and she was explaining how it is so irritating that now you could literally be talking to a Gen Z, I mean, in her team, and she's talking to them, and you actually notice the person has zoned off, because the person is there looking at you, but the person is completely gone. Because that attention span is very shortened. You know, so I don't know. Let me come to you, Isi. What are your thoughts?
My thought is about the IQ and the environment. Now, I can also look at it from the aspect of us having in Nigeria different types of people that are doing one content or the other on social media. Now, when we look at what each individual who is a Gen Z decides to say, okay, this is my interest, this is what actually catches my attention, that is that Gen Z's social media environment. That's what actually captures that individual's attention. And looking at it from that context, that is how it actually, instead of it to grow, it slides. Okay?
Downwards.
It slides downwards. And as it's sliding downwards, aside from the attention span, what is the content of what they are assimilating?
As well. Right.
What are they taking in? What are they assimilating? And too much information veered towards the wrong direction will definitely affect an individual, whether the person is a Gen Z or not, even if he's a baby boomer. So it's not about whether the person is a Gen Z or not. It is the attention span of the environment you decide to belong to in the social media context. And look at it. We look at individuals and say, hey, people have different interests. How do you tell the difference between reality and social media? That is another thing. Some people, or most of those individuals who are Gen Zs, they believe that what they see on social media should be their reality. So your reality is also another thing you should also take into context. As I rest my case.
You know what? It's funny that you brought that up, because most times when you see the content that is being consumed more, you know, it will give you an idea of how the people are thinking. When you put something serious on Instagram, does it even make the headlines?
Nothing.
It doesn't even
if he gets one like maybe it's probably
that's why
your family member.
Milola is always dancing. That's why she's selling markets.
And then when
I'm gonna take offense.
Please take offense.
See, let me tell you.
But let me come to you, Milola.
My thought on, without a doubt, social media has affected our IQ level. Clearly, put that out first, because a lot of us get triggered by social media. We produce dopamine, the happy, feel-good hormone. So our phones is nothing more than a dopamine-producing devices. It allows us to feel happy. And because dopamine wears out very quickly, we go back there again and activate the dopamine again. So we've become literally addicted to our devices because there's a lot of excitement that comes from watching social media. And people get derailed, they get distracted, they lose focus, and definitely that would affect the quality of your thought, and then would affect the quality of your IQ.
Absolutely.
We do not do anything anymore that is engaging or stimulating our mind beyond getting distracted. Every one of us is guilty. I am guilty of that. The only justification I give to myself is that, okay, I make business of that platform. But that's not an excuse. There was a time in my life I said, just like you, I will not touch my device until my kids have gone to school, until I have sat down and do my to-do list, or until I have done something significant. Give it Damilola 10 a.m. in the morning. Don't touch those phones. I broke those rules.
Of course.
And I'm not proud of myself, but you would understand that whether you like it or not, first of all, admit that you're struggling. There's no shame in struggling and admitting the fact that you're struggling, but we need to find. And I don't know if we can sit here and find a solution, but we should put it out there so that people become more aware of the fact that this thing, it has these advantages, but the disadvantages is quite significant. And we can't underplay it because of the fact that it makes us feel good.
You know, it's interesting. I don't know where I saw that research where they said that the creators of social media, they are not on social media. So they created it for you people, to use it. And because they know, I mean, it was one of the Facebook founders. Remember, he gave a speech and he was saying that because he knows the level of addictive nature, the addictive nature that it had. So that was why he stayed off, the social media space. Because again, so is it that with social media, we are trying to make up for something that we think we're missing? Because I don't understand why that it has that much capacity
effect on us.
Because I mean, yesterday when WhatsApp came back online and Instagram came back online, I was literally checking.
Jumping
I was jumping from WhatsApp. No, I was jumping from WhatsApp to Instagram, WhatsApp to Instagram. So next thing, I just saw that the Instagram page started loading, and I now saw immediately. I say, somebody I saw. I think Brief Essential, one of our friends, she posted that just check it. I said, okay, the thing is okay, So for me, I mean, it got me thinking that a lot of times, we think things are not. I mean, things don't have effect on us until we know how far. I mean, now I'm beginning to sit down to think, okay, there used to be a time where I had patience to pick a book and read. Now I have bought God knows how many books. I have bought it. They will just give me the book. The shelf. All the books that they are giving me that I'm posting on Instagram, this nice book. I have not had the time to sit down to read it. Because it's almost like it is a problem. And there used to be a time where I would sit down every month, at least finish a book, And then I know the impact it had on my everything, my thought process and all of that. But now it is almost like I'm just so much in a hurry and I cannot even sit down to read a book. And this one, I am the one complaining that I'm used to reading books before. So what about the children that we're raising?
I was just going to go there, that imagine.
Do you understand? The children that we're raising today, they cannot sit still in class. They don't have good attention span because they are focused on the, what's it called? Social media, the YouTube videos, YouTube Kids, YouTube videos, YouTube, that's all they watch. So how would it impact them in the future? Right? It means that nothing is sustained in their mind. They will just, anything they want to do is, because it's actually very alarming for me.
We need to help our kids.
This evening, I just made a mental note. I didn't even know, I hadn't really focused on the topic today, but I had made a mental decision today that I was going to log off on all of the devices at home for the kids. For me, I've already put that benchmark that except if it's work that I'm doing, don't touch that phone.
Yeah.
So I had actually started this for myself. So it was okay for me yesterday when I found out that that was what was happening. I moved on. There were other things that I was doing, right? But I imagined the bigger picture of the number of people that, oh, my life is over, because everything about their life is on social media. But I had made that mental decision, especially where the children are, because this generation, at least you even had the willpower to say, oh, I used to read books.
Yeah.
The generation that we have
They are
now,
not programmed.
they don't have that willpower to say that, oh, I need to do this.
You know,
because they are raised in a generation where everything
I
is
don't think it's the generation. I think no. So for this one, sorry, I'll come to you. I think this will be hinged solely on parents. You know why? Because I remember clearly when my children were growing up, when they used to do party packs in school. Me, I've always been a rebel. I don't do what people do. I don't follow people at all. So when people used to do party packs, they used to go and do whatever. I go to Latana Ventures. And I pick up, if they have 25 pupils in that class, I pick up 25 books. The first time I ever did it, and I went to pick up, my son was in nursery 2. I remember clearly that day. Do you know that the entire class, all the children sat down, they were reading, you know this, those small pocket books.
Yes.
I bought them. They were reading. Immediately I came into the class. That's why till tomorrow. Most of my children's classmates, they will always come and hug me as if I'm their mother. You know, they get, Ma, I love my book. I love my this. I love my that.
And they value that.
Do you understand? So before, the teacher said before, immediately they gave them, he presented the books to them as their gift.
Everybody started reading.
Everybody started reading. Everybody finished the story. So I want to say that in this aspect of we are talking about generation. Yes, exactly. We are raising children in this. We are raising children in a generation of digital awareness and digital whatever. But it is still, the onus is still on the parent to ensure that
it has to be monitored.
You are monitoring and you are providing the right tools. My son will sleep with a book every night on his bed. He must finish the book before he sleeps. The same thing with my sister's children that she's raising now. So it is the same thing. You do not, so you can't say because we're in the digital age where there's technology, there's YouTube and all of that, then you will now let go or lose the ball. Because it is on you as a parent. I'm sorry, I won't take that from anybody. You know what, Isi, I'll come to you. Let's just take a very short break. When we come back from the break, we'll also open our phone lines. Love to hear what you have to say. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the result of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already.
I am not hungry. If I need appointment, all I need to do is to start praising government.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let anybody come and say. The moment we stop having charlatans occupy political offices, we will curtail hate speech.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
If you're just tuning in, it's our ladies' night out, and we're asking what impact has social media had on our IQs? Now, let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Our phone line is now open. Please, when you call us, turn off the volume of your television set so we can hear each other. Please call us on 07025007749. That's the number to call. All right, so Isi, you're going to say something before we went on the break.
Yes, before I talk about the aspect of pupils and parents and social media, I want us to also look at it from the context that we have the Gen Zs who are between the ages of, between the ages of 9 and 24. And these are individuals that like to move around with their phones a lot. And I was driving out of my estate some days back, and I saw everybody holding their phones while they were walking. Not even absorbing or looking at the environment. They were walking along the road, and everybody was on their phone, flipping. I looked around. Only one man, who is probably a baby boomer, who is in his 50s or 60s, and he was walking without looking at any device. Now, what does that say about us as individuals? We are neglecting our environment, and we are all absorbed
into the matrix of social media.
Thank you. That is our life today. Now, going down the aspect of pupils or children not being on social media or being on social media. There are different ways parents can actually engage their children on social media, not even going on social media. There are different devices that they can use. There is the Kindle. You talked about children having books. There is the Kindle. They can have books loaded on the Kindle for them to be able to read. And that is also taxing their brains, even if it has to be on a digital gadget. Then we also have books, online books that they can actually buy. What kind of books? There are different types of libraries we have online currently. There is a pdfdrive.com that you can also go to get good books, and the children are engaged. All of these are things that parents need to understand, that they need to engage their children in. And what will this do for their children? It will build their mind, and they will get to understand that it's not only going on social media that is the dynamics of the internet, but you can also learn
access other information,
other things as well, and not just YouTube as well. Just sit down. There's that alone time you can also get. Not flipping through social media, not flipping through your phone. And you were talking about something earlier about a parent who was actually posting online the daughter crying over the fact that somebody in a reality show was evicted. That child had no business
even watching
watching that program.
Not just of getting attached
not even
to any
so much that you're expressing emotions.
On all levels. So what are our priorities as parents? What are we exposing our children to as parents? What message are we passing on to our children? So are we telling them that it's okay for them to watch a reality show where somebody moves around in a particular way? There are so many things we have to look at.
That show is not even something that is even ideal for kids to watch
have
at all.
Any business watching.
Let me take Ogechi
it still comes back to what the parents are introducing the children
Thank you for calling.
Social media.
Ogechi, are you there? Hello?
Okay, cheers.
So, when a show is clearly rated 18 plus, right? And you as a parent
allows the
child to go and watch
exposes the child to watching.
The question I asked when I even shared that video on our group, I was saying, can't parents also be arrested? Because I mean, this is child abuse.
It's abuse, yes. It's an abuse.
You would allow a child to
process information,
go and watch. You know, it's crazy.
It's very sad.
You know,
and you know, we have different. That I don't want anybody to come for me on this, but there are different types of things we see on social media. We have individuals who are promoting a certain type of lifestyle that is not acceptable to children, and certain types of lifestyles that we shouldn't even expose the children to, like cross-dressing and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And they make it
so
seem
natural.
okay.
Yeah.
Now the child grows up with that mindset and says, oh, after all, ABC did it and got away with it. Why can't I? And, you know, in the context of social media trendy, you want to, you know, in quote,
fit in,
belong.
belong. You want
Let me take Kogechi again. I think she's back. Are you there? Hello? Kogechi, you're live. Can you hear us? Hello?
Seems Ogechi's line is faulty.
Yeah. Norma, you were going to say something.
Yeah, you know, I still wanted to reiterate the fact that social media has actually greatly lowered IQ levels today, because when you focus on things that are not helping the brain to function in the capacity that it was designed to,
absolutely,
take, in this case, social media, a lot of people's brains are shrunk.
Are porous.
Are so shrunk that it does not allow them to maintain a high level of attention. And some of these, like we were talking about cognitive
skills,
performance and test and all of that, those things sometimes require you to be logical, to think, to process. But because the brain has become used to not thinking, you can't expect that, you can't have that level of expectation for the brain because it can't offer it. Every organ is made to function in a certain way, and the brain was made to function to be able to take in information that is able to turn into something processed that they can now deliver back. Unfortunately, the more we say in the name of content, oh, I'm watching content, but really, if you check what people focus on social media, is not content that helps the brain to function. It's not constructive, right? At the end of the day, guess what? You're going to churn out less, I don't want to say less human beings. Let me borrow Minola's language. Less intellectual human beings. You can't even have a conversation that is meaningful.
Absolutely.
Now with the okay, I don't want to.
Let me take.
I don't want to point fingers, but
I think Loma also from Umar here. Let's hear what you have to say. Thank you for calling.
Yeah. Good evening, my sisters in the house.
Hi. Good evening.
Yeah, this is Norman the Prophet. What social media has done to this generation, especially the younger one, it has done all this present generation more harm than good. Just like the program that was just finished. So you go to some families, you see children below the age of 6, 5, watching Big Brother and that. I'm telling you, you start asking yourself, why must these children at this age watch? And you don't hear them talking about their books. They don't read their books. They don't talk about white money. They talk about angels. They talk about, these are the things you hear. So I think it behooves on parents to go back to the old values where they now try to teach their children which is good, and not allowing them every time. You see the other one, every time they start scrolling their phone, going into watching all these fun movies, everything. At the end of the day, they start misbehaving in the society. So I'm using this opportunity, now that you people are talking about it, please help and disseminate this information. Let parents go back to the core values of morality, so that at the end of the day, we will not bring children that will spoil this particular generation. Thank you very much.
It's not the children that will spoil the generation. The generation is already spoiled. But let me hear you, Milola. You've been quiet for a bit.
Yeah, it's very... Unfortunately, we all have to take personal responsibility for our well-being.
Absolutely.
And no matter what we share on the platform like this, is just to bring consciousness, to bring consciousness in that direction and allow people to think through it and see what they can do differently. We all are running our own race. Unfortunately, we still get affected by common interest. I believe that, just like that man said, a lot of kids have no business watching. I had to deliberately take my kids off tablets. I said, a mobile, small device, call me. Don't bother with anything. Whatever they're exposed to in school is enough. Whatever they watch on YouTube, on Netflix, it's enough. I didn't think that they were due for the exposure because they can't sift and sort through some of these things. And because it just pops on you sometimes, you just find yourself getting eroded and watching and following through. So I just choose to not let them even have a device for now. Before I can let my daughter have a device, maybe she'll be 10. And you realize that it'll be fine. We didn't have them. A lot of the things that we think we're raising kids, we're actually depriving them from having character building experiences. We overshield and overprovide for them. We are overly protective and doting excessively. We don't even allow them do chores anymore because they're so caught up with all the frenzy of social media and trying to be a Gen Z mom. We have really missed the mark. Clearly.
Let me take Ogechi. I think she's back again. She's desperately wanted to say something. Thank you for calling. You're live. Let's hear what you have to say.
Oh, okay. So it's about social media. So it's about the social media and how to help our kids, to have an alternative, So the thing is, children actually want something else to work with, but we need to create that something else for them, because I understand, okay, from experience, I found out that watching too much TV, you don't get to retain a lot because so many things are flipping through and all of that, But with reading, you get to sustain, you get to create. I attended a seminar one time in Abuja, and the guy said something about an MRC part of our brain. It's called the Motor Rehearsal Center. He said that part of the brain helps you to create. But you cannot create when you're watching too much of TV. I remember when I was growing up, I used to have an uncle of mine that, I did my youth service with in his house. I felt that man was evil because the TV station would just be NTA and the radio was 92.9 Capital FM. You dare not touch it. You don't even try. You understand? But over the years, I found out that one thing in that house, there was so much of creativity. Because you're left reading or listening to Capital FM or watching NTA where they have some, at least, some good content and all of that. Not now that you have so many options. Absolutely. So for me, I know tablets, you have good tablets that could allow them watch. But watch does not allow them retain anything. It's still better they go back to the books. It helps them to relax. They don't get so anxious and all of that. You understand the discipline of staying on a thing and finishing it. Unlike the tablet, I have to keep flipping through and all of that, So by God's grace, we just continue with this conversation, we'll make a headway.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
I love you, Wishu. I'm still loving you from local job. I love you.
Thank you. We love you too. Thank you so much. So you see, this conversation is weakening me. Because go ahead, please.
Yeah, this is from Benson. It says, "Greetings, ladies. Incidentally, most content creators on social media put some real work to make it attractive enough, and in a lot of ways stretches imagination. On the contrary, millions of consumers just consume and relax. IQ stretch, almost a torture to most." So that for social media, it stretches their imagination, whatever. But IQ stretch is like a torture, right? And it's not creative. That's Benson's opinion.
Okay, let me take our final call. Peter from Benin, are you there?
Yes, good evening.
Thank you for calling.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Good topic. We all at fault, and all hands must be on deck to change the narrative that we have about this social media. It has done more harm than good. Of recent, China reduced the number of gaming time children can go on the internet to 3 hours a week. That's a government that is already thinking about the future.
Absolutely.
Recently, a friend of mine told me that she applied for an NGO in Abuja and they were now talking about library. So she drove around Abuja, she tried to see where she could get any library. Now our libraries. I want to believe the only libraries we have now is in the university. It is high time we begin to monitor what our children do on social media. It's a time bomb. Because if we don't nip it in the bud now, I see something very dangerous in the future. Because anything you want now, Google it. People don't even tax their brain to do research.
Exactly.
And as parents, mentally, and because of the psychological warfare these children have over us, we give in to their persuasion. We must stand our ground. We must have a timetable on how we monitor our children, what they do on social media. Now, most of them cannot even think outside the box. I just feel all hands must be on deck to change this trend.
Absolutely.
Yesterday, it was as if the whole world, in Nigeria in particular, has gone under the water because social media was up for 7 hours.
Thank you, Peter. So I even think...
Thank you. But on a lighter note, you don't look happy this evening. All is well.
Amen. It is well. You know, I think, Peter, what you said about the libraries, even when you go to the libraries that you find in the university, there are no books there.
They're not relevant.
There are not even books there.
They're obsolete.
Obsolete books there. So it's not even so much of... I mean, I remember there was a guy that reached out to me. He lived in the US for years, so he had access to thousands of books, about 10,000 books. We couldn't get any government... all we were asking for is give us a space where we can equip these libraries, right? We couldn't get the spaces to do it. So the books were just there. He couldn't even bring the book. My sister is a teacher in, she's a teacher in France. I can tell you for free that every year, what is every year? Maybe every 6 months or something, there's a new textbook coming out. They're churning out books.
Information.
Books, reviewing, you know, updating and
upgrading.
Do you understand? In Nigeria, how much attention are we paying to our books, our educational sector, you know? And you now add that. You have not paid so much attention on it. You're not adding social media to it. So it's actually a very sad, it's a very sad situation. All right, Isi, take your comment, please.
I don't want to talk about that education part, but this comment, I don't know who is coming from. There's no name here, and it says, the media, I think he says social media, has not only lowered the current generation's IQ, but has destroyed the reading culture of this age. People are no longer reading again and are in a hurry going nowhere.
All right, so good evening, ladies. Shout out to Akanima Ojo on the occasion of her birthday, wishing her many returns. That's Adi from the UK. Thank you. I'm sure she'll be happy to hear that.
Absolutely.
All right, so ladies, we've run out of time. This conversation, we can't finish it.
No.
I wasn't planning to finish it. We're planning to remain, but we had a fantastic conversation. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Milola, Nomer, and Isi. All right, so before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram. It's at WayShowAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment. And importantly, we're planning a giveaway to say thank you to you for believing in the Ways brand. So do well to follow us now. Is at WayShowAfrica. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. If you are on social media and you're not learning, not laughing, not being inspired, or not networking, then you're using it wrongly. So I think we've all said it right here that, yes, there are pros and cons, but if you look at it, you have to also strike a balance. I think that's what I got from the conversation today. If we strike a balance, and parents, please, be deliberate. Be very deliberate with your children. Get them books, hard copy books. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.